Let's talk about 10 things I hate about motorcycles. Well, one is people that go on about not liking Rotella oil. Well, it's Jazzo certified. Rochelle went ahead and went through with that a number of years ago now. It's probably like 10 plus years ago. But they actually supported it. They used to have a form, Shell, the corporation Shell, had a form where you could ask questions, what have you. It was actually kind of nice. I was a member there. Used to go there all the time. But, you know, they had a motorcycle section. People would always come on and say, ask, you know, can I use Shell in my street bike, blah, blah, blah. And Shell officially would respond and answer people's questions. I mean, what a novelty. A company actually cares about and responds to customers and potential customers. What a novelty concept, right? And I'm being sarcastic here because all companies should be doing that. So people would come on and ask, well, can I use Rotella, whether it was T5 or T6 or whatever, the white jug, I forget which one that is, in their street bike, off-road bike, ATV, whatever. Shell's official response was, yes, because it does not have friction modifiers, you can use it. It is not certified because we haven't gone through the certification process at that time. Woo, not enough momentum, but I still made it. We didn't go through the certification process, and that was for at that time, but it meets it, or possibly might even exceed it. So yes, because no friction modifiers, you can use it in your wet clutch applications. That was official from Shell. So here we are. God, that was like 26 years ago. I'm 46. I believe that was like, I was 20 years old. That was like 26 years ago. Maybe 24 or 25 if I'm wrong. But quite a long time now, and people are still debating on whether you can use Rotella in a motorcycle. So a number of years ago, Shell went through the process and became Jazzo certified. At that time, the oil went up in cost. You used to be able to get it for like 10, 12 bucks a gallon. Now, as of the other day, was $20 and some odd cents at my local Walmart, which has the best prices typically on that stuff. A 2.5 gallon container was $48 and some change, so with tax, 50 bucks, and with tax on the other, probably, I don't know, you know, $22, let's say. Not quite sure, but point being, it has gone up in price, and a lot of that had to do is when they became Jazzo certified. A certification costs a corporation a lot of money. It's why they hadn't become certified. It meant they had to raise the cost of the product. But yet today, people go on about, oh, you should use motorcycle specific oil. Have these people never worked in the manufacturing field? So what occurs? Maybe that's because I was in Michigan and it's, you know, car industry heavy and manufacturing heavy, that I worked in manufacturing. I mean, I was an IT guy. Before that, you know, I just worked on a line and made actual paint shelves for the automotive painting industry, putting together these mixers that, you know, spin the paint, gallons, quarts, what have you, on a big shelf system called Dito Industries. So yeah, I worked for this company called Dito Industries. So anyways, I've been around manufacturing. And then I worked for a company called Tifco Gauge and Gear. And I also worked for a company that was called Sebro Plastics. They made a bunch of the automotive connectors, electrical connectors. So I feel I have some understanding how manufacturing and various rating systems work. So JASO is a certification system, just like ISO is a certification system. What it means is you get your product, you pay to get your product certified, that every time you make that product, it's going to be the same. So it's kind of like a quality system, but you're paying them huge membership, and it depends on how big you are and all that. There's different prices, so it's not like every company it costs $50,000. It might cost this company over here $100,000, and it might cost your business, you know, $1 million because of the size. Now, I should specify, that's my understanding, and because I've used it and worked with it, and we became ISO certified. That's kind of the ISO certification. JASO might not be as complex, but it's still a certification where you're certifying that that oil meets their certification. So you're paying a large sum of money. So, I mean, it could be millions of dollars. They're paying somebody just to have that JASO stamp on a bottle, just like they're paying to have any other stamp on that bottle. So it's one more thing, and it's not just a one-time thing you pay for, it's something you have reoccurring. You're gonna pay that $1 million, if that's what it is. 3 million, it could be huge. And that's why those things are pretty gimmicky. But the also idea behind it is a manufacturer, like a motorcycle, can be like, we want to use this oil that meet these certain specifications. Well, if you're stamped JASO and the bike manufacturer says it meets JASO certification, then it doesn't matter the brand you use. You just go ahead and you can use any brand. That's what people don't seem to understand. So Rotella officially is JASO certified, and they have been for quite a while. So I don't understand why the controversy. I've used it way before it was certified, because Shell on their form officially guaranteed it would work in wet clutch systems. They had that post right there. So if somebody wanted to sue them, they could, because they already came out officially saying we support this in wet clutch applications. You might not even believe it, but I used to use Mobil 1, my Ninja 250, because it did not have friction modifiers at that time in it. And then they changed it, and I had to quit using it. But I always bought Mobil 1 oil because it did not have friction modifiers. And it worked great in my Ninja 250. Then they changed it, and then I started using Rotella. I found out about that. I used Giamma Lube and bounced all over the place. And my Canadian friend was like, you can use any diesel oil, you know, it doesn't have friction modifiers. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I started reading up on it, found the Shell site. I was like, I'm using Rotella. They certify it right there by saying that it will work. So it's weird to me that people go on about that and are so worried about oil. They'll put any damn oil in their $60,000, $80,000 vehicle, but heaven forbid a $10,000 motorcycle, $15,000, they're going to worry about what oil. Oh my God, the manual said I had to use modal. Well, I'll just let you know, for modal's name and copyright to be in that manual documentation, be promoted by KTM, Beta, whoever, it's going to, they paid a huge sum of money to that manufacturer to have their oil be the recommended oil. You know, in manufacturing, no one is making a motorcycle to a brand of oil. They make it to a specification of oil. So let's get up here and I'll continue to talk. But that's it about oil, guys, gals, internet peeps. I don't understand why people badmouth Rotella. I don't think they understand the manufacturing process. I don't think they understand that a lot of those, like Yamalube is made by Yamaha. Kawasaki doesn't make their own oil. They go to oil manufacturers and they're like, can you make us and how much will you charge? And we want our logo and this and that on that bottle. And those companies make the oil to them for those specifications. They might change the color or change it just a little bit more. Maybe Kawasaki says, you know, have it a little bit this way, that way, or maybe they don't say anything. They just say, we want it as cheap as possible. So anyways, that's it about oil in a nutshell. Let me know in the comments, but we're going to continue on the 10 things I hate about the motorcycle world and the people in it. So, oil. Use whatever you feel works for your bike, and if you stick to a specification, then don't worry about it. Why are you worrying about your $10,000, $15,000 motorcycle? If you're that worried about, maybe you shouldn't have bought a motorcycle because it's a luxury item. So anyways, I'm going to hit this and then talk more because I know I won't be able to talk as I go up it. So the next thing I hate about the next thing I hate about motorcycle riders are their obsession with bib mousses or nitro mousses, either or. Foam tire inserts. Because personally, I don't care if you run them or whatever, but the people that run them seem to be obnoxious. Oh, they're the best thing. Blah, blah, blah. They're the best thing. Gotta run. And then there's people that really hate tubeless. I ran my tubeless like 100,000 miles on my XR650R. I wore the carcass, red carcass. It has steel belts and stuff. I wore that rubber around that. Started to come off because I had so many miles. It just worked. And I had a couple of, I've had 2 failures. I had one out on, I think it was the Beta 500. And then I had one on my gas. I walked out, tire was flat. Tubeless tube, the high pressure tube was just old. Just like a bib mousse could be old and flimsy and have a tire come off. Seen that happen. And that can happen. And so not a big deal, you know, I changed it. You know, I think I just ripped it out and put it in a tube, right? Always have tubes on hand. I mean, no matter if you have bib mousse or not, you should have some tubes in your garage. So if you go out there and you walk around, and you can be like, okay, I know you're going to say, well, what happens on the ride? Well, you know, if it's a trip, I tend to take tubes with me just in case and some rim locks. It's not that big of a deal. I just throw them in my truck. Probably don't need them. Leave them in the box. But I put them in my truck. Not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. You know, maybe I get out to somewhere and I have to go back to the campground, the Airbnb or whatever, truck, whatever it might be. But, I mean, a bib could cut your day short too. If it shrunk enough, you didn't notice, you get out there and tire comes off and, you know, you have to get out. At least with this method, you have a rim lock. Now, I know people will put rim locks and this and that, or have a tubeless with a mousse and all these crazy contraptions. Either stick to a tube. There's also the crazy thick tubes like Lucilia or whatever. I'll try to get the link and put that in the description. And your mousses and your tubeless are completely tube free on those type of bikes, but I'm mainly talking dirt bikes, off-road. I haven't had that big of an issue for how many miles I have on my bikes with tubeless. Whether it's the gas, whether it's the Beta here, which we can go off this, but because it's close. How many miles do I have? I have 2,400 miles on this bike. No issues with tubeless. So, I don't know. You tell me how many inserts you would have done already for the bibs or the nitros. How many tubes would you have gone through? Because when I used to just run tubes, I actually replaced the tubes every other tire change. So that was an added expense. So it might seem like tubeless costs a lot, and I've had no problem. Now maybe because I'm not a racer and I'm pushing it to the max. That could be the thing. I'm not trying to be out here and be like a racer, you know? I'm not trying to go fast. See, I like this stuff. I'm not going fast in this stuff now, am I? I'm by myself, and I'm picking my line. So I just hate the mentality of the foam insert people. And now maybe it's all in fun, but it seems pretty damn aggressive when they go on about, I hate tubeless, don't get me started. You know, go hide in your goddamn mom's basement, because you're probably a little bitch. You're probably a snowflake. You know you want to go hide in the basement. Well, what if you run over a thorn and you get a tire leak? It's why I run Tire Jacked. And before that, Slime. And yes, Tire Jack did give me some Tire Jacked. But you know what? Since then, I liked it so much, I bought it because it worked. So it's a little pricey. But I put it in. I probably should add more later on. But I leave it in for the life of the tire. Tire Jacked works in my tubeless system. Highly recommend it. If you don't have tubes, run it. It's good stuff. It stops those little leaks, even somewhat bigger ones, in your motorcycle tire, allowing you to only lose a little bit of air and you can keep going. And because of the rim locks of the tubeless and how it seals, if that's not compromised, then you're good to go there too, right? I don't know. People act like, oh, I can still run over so I can get a leak. Well, you're supposed to run something inside your tire with the tubeless system, whether it's Slime or Tire Jacked or Ride-On or Stands. There's many different companies. Check it out. I recommend Tire Jacked just because I liked it so much that after they gave me some, I went ahead and I continually buy it. So they got a lifelong customer here because I know it works. Okay, number 3 is going to be people that keep trails secret. Oh my God, your videos are gonna make it so more people ride that area. This is a public trail. This is 672 Mount Rosa, Nelson's, whatever you want to call it. It's a public trail system. No reason to keep this secret. So, I get why you would keep certain stuff, but I'm talking about public trails. And I'm talking about out here in the West, where we have a lot of public trails. If you're back east, I totally understand it. But, you know, you don't have to keep this stuff secret. The more people that ride it, the more harder it is for them to close it. Because more people will show up to the meeting. If no one rides an area, no one uses a trail, less likely people will show up to defend this. So, popular trails don't typically get closed. It's ones that are kept secret. You know, pick some random trail on the map in the middle of Colorado. That's single track or a Jeep trail, whatever. It's so easy for the Forest Service to be like, let's close this. And no one might defend it because it's like, yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't use it. It doesn't affect me. I don't know about that. It could be the most epic Jeep trail or ATV trail or single track. So keeping public trails secret doesn't do anyone good. Oh, but I'll get more people that come out there and ride it and it will look like Mount Rosa here. That's not true. You would still have to drive to the location. Price of gas and this and that, time. People aren't going to get out to those areas that are more remote to ride that single track to be able to tear it up. And if you share it, like I said, more people will be there to say, I want that trail kept open. So look at Grizzly Landing. If they said, you can't ride motorcycles there anymore. Before I rode it, I would have been like, well, what is that trail? I don't know anything about it. There's very few videos. I have no clue. That's why I like videoing stuff, so people also know about areas and they know what they're getting into. People can be like, God, I saw him throw his bike. I see him huffing and puffing. I know I can't do this by myself. I know I can't do this even if I have 2 or 3 guys. It's going to be a struggle bus. That lets people know how difficult a trail is. Maybe a certain area isn't for them. Maybe Captain Jack's isn't for the new rider. Maybe it's for the intermediate rider. Although I think down below is a good beginner. As you get higher, it gets harder. As you come to this, it gets, I would call this extreme for most people. So, keeping stuff secret, I don't think is a good thing, because when Forza asks for your comments on when they're closing stuff, you can speak to like, hey, I ride that once a week, or I've been out there, I bring my family out there camping, I always hit that trail, I love that trail, that's been there forever. I personally would like to keep riding it, my kids ride it, and this and that. Where if you don't know about it, what are you going to say? Oh yeah, just keep the trail open, I oppose your closing. And you can't really speak to it because maybe legitimately you haven't even been there. So you're just like, don't close it, we should keep trails open, blah, But if you have video and pictures to send them in the link and be like, hey, I go out there all the time, it's more likely they'll keep it open. Plus, as we go on, I've said this before, that it's hard to close trails because a lot of us have this, co-tracks, we're recording our tracks. We have our trails we ride. So they'll always be there. They'll be out there somewhere. So good luck Forest Service, good luck BLM, because even if you technically close this, we all know where it's at. We all have tracks. Good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck, because at this point, you shouldn't even try to close something down. It's just more and more people, and we need more and more stuff. We need more trails. We need more single track. We need more hiking trails. We need more ATV trails. We need more side-by-side specific wide trails, Jeep trails. I'm for all that. We need more of everything, because there's more and more people. Number 4. Well, so-and-so racer who's a pro and number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in the country runs XYZ. They use this or they don't use this. So they're somehow a figure of what you should be running. You should be running this tire, or you should be running that oil, or you should be running these, or they don't run bar risers or this or that. It's like, they're a racer. I guarantee you, if you approach Cody Webb and you say, I'll give you $100,000 to run bar risers, he'll be running bar risers. Now, they might be small ones, that would be insignificant, but he would run them. Why? Because he's getting paid. So it's like when people ask racers, what tire do you use? I see that all the time from some of the pros I have communicated with and follow. I just laugh because when people ask them that question, what tire do you think they're going to say? If they run Midas, like Chris Birch, and they get paid for and get free tires by Midas to promote Midas, do you think they're going to say run this Dunlop tire, or run this Kinda tire, or Shinko tire, or this or that? No, they're going to say run the Midas blah, blah, blah. And they'll probably point you to one for the terrain that you're talking about, but they're going to point you to that brand because that's what they get paid to promote. So you say, well, these racers don't run Tubeless, or these racers run this or that. It's like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They're getting paid because they're at the top of their game, and they can run anything, and they're not worried about the little bit of issues because they're at the top. They're getting paid bucks, they're getting free bikes, and paid by the manufacturer, and paid by all the little companies that want to toss them money to promote their products. That's why at the end of any race, whether it's Supercross or Straight Rhythm or whatever, some Red Bull Reminiacs, and the guy's up there and he's like, I like to thank, Beta, and I like to thank Highway Dirt Bikes and IMS and Seat Concepts You know, that would be what I would be promoting, right? Trail tech, stuff like that. And I would be thanking them. Why? Because I just got paid to race by the manufacturer. I just got paid by these companies to have these products on my bike. So I have to give thanks to them because I'm getting paid, and that's who I'm going to promote. Why people follow racers? Why would anyone go buy a Beta because so-and-so rides it? Why? I wouldn't go buy a Sherco just because Cody Webb, he's a nice guy, met him, talked to him. He took time out of his day, you know. I've talked to him numerous times. Why would you buy necessarily a Sherco just because he rides it? See, me not being a racer, I don't see that. I'm like, just because he rides that, I mean, he rode a gas before, so why aren't you buying gas? Oh, but that was the old platform, you might say. Well, I don't know, what other bikes has he ridden? Did he ride Beta for a while? I can't remember. But, you know, they change bikes like they change underwear. They're not loyal to any brand. They're loyal to the paycheck, and I don't blame them for that. But riders, whether it's trail riders or diehard racers or whoever, seem to love always to be like, well, so-and-so does this or doesn't do this, so that must be what's good. No, they do whatever they get paid to do. You say how much, and they say how high. You know, they'll do whatever you want, just like some of us YouTubes. You know, just like YouTubers or anyone else in reality, that's human nature. But going to them looking for an unbiased opinion is not going to happen unless you know you're so close to them that they know you're not going to say, hey, Cody Webb told me Shercos suck. He hasn't. Let you guys know, Sherco no, I don't want to get him in trouble. That's not that he hasn't done that. But I'm just saying, that would be like him saying, hey, Sherco suck, and then he's never going to do that. I mean, he might tell his family, like, I don't really like this bike or something, but he's not going to go out there and tell anyone that is ever going to let that out. And he might just not say it, just not to risk it, you know? I just would say take what professionals have to say about a product, what they recommend, with a grain of salt, just like you would take a YouTuber's opinion about a product with a grain of salt. Another thing riders kind of bug me about is gas tank size. Not just bug me, but just kind of annoying is the fact that, oh my god, how big's that tank? 5.2 gallons, oh my god. And I'll have like filled up to here. Like, I don't have it completely full. Today I'm more in it because I was at Monarch Crest, but so I filled it up just in case we did a lot of stuff. But yeah, they think because it's a tank, you gotta fill it. People have this in their mind that whatever tank you have in your bike, you must fill up when you fill it. Huh? What? No. Like usually this, for Captain Jack's, for Mount Rosa especially, I keep it lower. But because I was at Monarch Crest, I was still burning some fuel down, so I'll get a bunch of rides out here on it, and I usually keep a lot less in it. But what I like that people don't think about is it's radiator protection also, so I don't have to buy radiator guards. So one less thing wrapped around the radiator to affect cooling, although you might be like, big tank, it affects cooling. It has a spot for a cooling fan. I have a cooling fan. I have it manually wired up. It works. It's great. No problems. So just because somebody has a big tank doesn't mean they fill the tank up, people. And it means if I go on a bigger ride, I don't have to worry about fuel, like, oh, I got to carry these containers with me. Oh, I got to do this or that. Oh, I can only go 60 miles. And the loop's 90 miles? Oh, my God. Well, it's like, why don't you buy you don't have to necessarily get a 5-gallon tank. You know, you can buy a 3-gallon, a 4-gallon, whatever they make for your bike that's in between, and have a little bit more range. And when you're doing the harder stuff, don't fill it all the way. It's that simple, people. I don't know why people are so worried about their tank size and think they have to fill the damn thing. You know, I know you probably won't like this. Go in your basement, hide, you know, go cry to Highland Cycles that I'm being mean, that I'm contradicting what he has to say, you know? Go cry, Snowflakes. You can go cry to him. Don't cry to me. I don't care. Well, I care about. You see my videos. I definitely don't care. But, you know, don't cry to me that your tank is small and you can't do this loop because it's too small. Well, buy a bigger tank. What do you mean? You just spent $1,500 for your forks and your rear shock, but you won't buy a tank? Come on now. So I hope you all enjoyed my video here. It was going to be on 10 things. It's hard to do when you're riding. If I were done this at home, I could have wrote it out, right? And had an idea. But riding, my brain's all over because I'm looking at obstacles. It's a lot harder to do. So I think that was 5 things. So we're going to call it 5 things. And if you all didn't know, half of this video was me doing this because of Morgan at Highland Cycles, my favorite person, my favorite rider, and I'm just like poking him. This is just a poke. I love the guy. We like each other. So don't take anything I say, my opinions, against Morgan, because, man, he's an awesome dude. He'll help you out. He's there for you. And yeah. So this was half to do with poking, but some truths to just how I see things too. So it seemed like a fun video to do. So y'all take care. Please like, subscribe, check out my other videos. Check out Morgan at Highland Cycle. He's an awesome dude. I think he's at like 14,000 subscribers, man. That is epic. I told him he'd get there. I'm glad he has. And his TikTok is, oh my God, I couldn't believe he has like 70, 80,000 followers over there. I'm like, I would never have thought. So his TikTok has encouraged me to get TikTok, because I'm kind of against it, I'll admit that, but to expand on doing the shorter videos. That's why you see shorter videos on YouTube here, in Instagrams, the Reels, and then the TikTok videos. Yep. I'm having fun expanding out to other areas that might generate a little bit of income here, a little here, and a little here. And yeah, he's encouraged me to do the TikTok, basically. When I saw, shit, he has that many, I didn't even know. He doesn't promote it that I know of. So that is just epic. Congratulations to Morgan. I'm glad everything is working out great in the social media realm. So you take care, everybody, and Morgan. And hey, as he says, as I'm going to say right now, get out there and ride your dirt bike!